loves, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Rye and this is Rye's Reading Corner, and today I'm bringing you another pretty good size book haul. So yes, again, I have bought more books and I'm running out of room, but I love to collect books, not just read them. So here I am with another book haul for you. So I am going to break this book haul into 3 different categories to kind of keep it organized. All of it will be timestamped down below if you're only interested in one of these categories. So my first category will be book box books, and I won't go into too much about these because some of them I have unboxings for, and you can, I will put that into the cards above. Then the next one will be new releases, so books that I've bought that were published either in late January, February, or the beginning of March. And again, some of these books I've already read. Actually, a lot of them I have read, and a lot of them I talked about in my February wrap-up. So I will post that video in the cards above. And then all of my other books that I purchased are backlist books, and that will be my last category. If it's a book that I haven't read yet or I don't have a video for, I'll maybe give a little bit of information about, but I don't want to have a video that's a half-hour long about hauling books, so I'm going to kind of keep it short and sweet. So let's get started. Okay, so my first category is all the books that I've gotten from book boxes. And so the first 2 books are from the book box called Unplugged Book Box, and this is the one that I am a personal rep for. Super excited. My rep code is down below if you want to get 5% off of a 3-month subscription or more. It's Rise Read 5. Definitely check them out. So the book that was for March is The Conductors by Nicole Glover. This is like a historical fantasy doing with the Underground Railroad. I'm really excited for this book. I had never heard of it before. And then I just actually said someone just like, I had it before I got it. And then someone was talking about that they want to read this. And I was like, look at that. So I'm super excited for this one. I haven't read historical fantasy like this before, so I'm excited to dive into it. It is also a debut author, which I totally love and support, so super excited. And it's again The Conductors by Nicole Glover, and I love the cover of this. So the next one was the February box for Unplugged Book Box, and this was The Mask of Mirrors by M.A. Carrick. Beautiful cover. This is another fantasy chunky. It's an adult book. The coolest thing is if you download this app, it's called the Google Lens, the cover comes to life and it like moves on your phone. It literally like blew my mind. It's so cool. So if you have heard of that before, you probably know what I'm talking about, but literally, I wish I could show you. It's literally the coolest thing ever. I don't really know much about this, just that it is a fantasy novel. It is a little bit of a chunker, but I am super excited to dive into this. All right, so my next book is from Book of the Month, and this was for, I want to say March, and it's Too Good to Be True by Carola Lovering. This is a thriller, and I'm super excited. I don't know too much about it, just that it's thriller, and I like going into thrillers not knowing anything because then it doesn't spoil it. But I am super excited reading this. A lot of people seem to have picked this book for their book of the month, so that must be a good sign, I am hoping. All right, so my next one was my February, and I did do an add-on in February, and this is Kristen Hanna, The 4 Winds. My girl Kristen is really begging me to read a Kristen Hanna book, so I figured I would pick this up as well. I know Kristen Hanna's books are like historical fiction, and this one takes place in 1921. So yeah, I'm interested to read this one. I know they can be very emotional, so I know I have to be in like the right mindset for this one, but I know from, not just from Kristen, I've heard it from many people that her writing, Kristen Hanna's writing is just beautiful, and I'm really excited to eventually try one of these. My next one was also from February, and this was like the main book that I bought, and this was Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. This is an adult romance. I did do a reading vlog. I read 2021 romance releases over Valentine's Day weekend. I'll put that in the cards above. This is about a girl who has really been kind of like had her head on straight straight type person, really type A, had direction for her entire life. She goes to Vegas with her friends to celebrate her getting her PhD, and she wakes up and she finds out she has married a girl she met the night before at a bar that she'd been drinking at, and trying, you know, and then now trying to figure out what this means and trying to establish a relationship, and are they going to keep this marriage? Are they going to try to save it? And also deals a lot with mental health as well. So this was a fun read. Not my favorite romance, but this isn't a review, so I'm not going to say more, but definitely check out my reading vlog for my opinions on this book. The next one was the Owl Crate book box for, I want to say February. I did not do an unboxing for this one because I got it a little bit later than I normally do, and there was already a lot of people unboxing them, so I just did it myself. And this is the Gilded Ones by Namina Fornon. I probably pronounced that wrong. I'm really sorry. This book has been talked about a lot because it was really hyped. It was originally supposed to be a 2020 release, and it was really hyped then, and then it got pushed back because of COVID. But it is now being released in 2021. So I don't know too much about it. That it is a fantasy type novel. The cover is pretty, and the inside has this beautiful green foiling, and the title is green as well. It's an Owl Crate edition. I had been recently kind of disappointed with the Owl Crate special editions. I didn't think they were anything that great compared to what they used to be. But this one's not bad. This one is a little bit better than Lore. I really was disappointed in the Lore one. I do have an unboxing of that one and my reactions to that one. But yeah, so it's not bad. I'm excited. Like I said, a lot of people have been talking about this one, so I'm hoping it lives up to all of the hype. So those are all of the books that I have acquired through book boxes. So next I'm going to go over all the books that were newly released books that I have bought since the end of January about till March. Alright, the first one is The X Talks by Rachel Lynn Solomon. This is another adult romance book. I was really excited for this book. I read another book by Rachel Lynn Solomon last year and really liked it. This is a workplace romance, but it doesn't take place at your typical office. It's like at a podcast type radio show host. It is hate to love style romance. I definitely heard a lot of mixed reviews about this one. It was read for the Sugar and Spice Book Club, hosted by Amanda from Ginger Snapped Reads and Kirsten from Kirsten's Corner. And I know people that absolutely love this book, and then I know people that absolutely just did not care for this book at all. So it's definitely a wide range. Personally, I loved it. But again, this is not a review. So, but yeah, X Talk, I did read this in February, so I'll post my February wrap up in the cards above. All right, the next one was a release that was just released like this past week, and it's one of my most highly anticipated releases. Actually just finished it last night, and that is Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. This is the third in the Brown series. We had Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and Take a Hint, Dani Brown, and we now end it with Act Your Age, Eve Brown. She is the younger of the three sisters. This is about a girl who really doesn't have a direction in her life, and her parents pretty much tell her that she needs to get her act together and you need to grow up, and she stumbles upon a job, and it becomes more of, I would say it's kind of like a hate to love, but the hate isn't very strong. I would say it's more of like they develop a friendship, like they don't care for each other, develop a friendship, and then have a romance together. It's beautiful, and I love Talia Hibbert, and she is so funny. And yeah, so this was my most newly required release that I have picked up. Alright, my next new release that I have hauled is The Project by Courtney Summers. This is a Barnes & Noble special edition. It is a red cover instead of the black. I almost think I like the black better. The inside is really cool if you haven't seen it. It is black cover, and there is no flaw in you. And it has the red on the side, and even like the inside pages is really cool. It's red with like black lines going through it saying you've been chosen. So yeah, it is a really pretty looking book, and yeah, I'm really happy with it. This is a cult story. We have two sisters. who kind of suffered extreme trauma as they were children. One was about like preteen, 12, 13, 11, and the other one was, I think she was more of like 19. And one of the sisters finds solace in a cult, and the other sister is now trying to find her sister and get her out of there. So this is labeled as a thriller. I think it's more of like a mystery. I don't know. You can again see my February wrap up for this one. But Courtney Summers, this was a highly anticipated release for me because I really have liked her other books in the past. But yeah, so a cult book. And my last newly released book that I have hauled and super highly anticipated since I read the entire series in January, and that is A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. Again, this is the Barnes Noble exclusive edition. It came with an excerpts in the back about the characters that were not prominently focused in the story. If you're not familiar, this is from the ACOTAR series, and this one's a little bit different because it does not follow Farah, who all the other books were mainly focused about, and in Rysand, this one focuses on her sister Nesta and Cassian, and it was just so good. It is a huge chunky book, but it is just amazing, and I did a whole review on this book, so I'll put that in the cards above. But I definitely had to haul this one. Not my favorite cover wise. I don't care for the aesthetic of it. I'm not an orange fan, and this is like some bright orange, like a really orange, but it still does look nice on my bookshelf. All right, so the next category are books that were backlist books that I have acquired recently. The first one is a sequel to another fantasy that I read in February that I loved, and that is Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. This is the sequel from Blood and Ash, again by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and I'm super excited about this one. I don't know which direction this one goes in necessarily, but the first one is about a girl named Poppy who is a maiden and pretty much has to be hidden at all times, and she meets a guard who has to take place as one of her other guards that she previously had, and his name is Hawk, and it's kind of a big deal that he is a guard because he is so young compared to a lot of the other guards, but he comes highly recommended, and maybe there's a little bit of romance, forbidden romance, but I won't get much into it. But yeah, and it's another chunky fantasy book. I'm supposed to be reading this one this month, but I haven't started it yet. But I think I will. I'm super excited for this one. All right, the next book I hauled is another, like I said, backlist book, and this is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I feel like this had a resurgence lately. I feel like a lot of people have been reading it. I know G from Book Roast read it recently. Christine from the Roomies Digest read it. And a lot of people describe this as the Hunger Games for adults. It is a science fiction book where it takes place on like Mars, and this was really a far-fetched book for me because I'm not a science fiction person, but I was really excited to read it, and I wanted to haul and have it in my collection. It's the first one of the trilogy. Yeah, and so I'm super excited. I want to read more science fiction and add it to my collection, so I definitely wanted a hard copy of this book. So the next book is a YA book, and that is Scythe by Neil Schusterman. This is, I feel like, a super hyped book on Booktube. It's set in a world where natural death does not occur, and these people called Scythes are the ones that take your life. And our book focuses around two main characters, Citra and Rowan, who are in kind of almost like a competition between each other to become an apprentice for one of the Scythes. So, yeah, this is a fantasy type book. It's a YA. I actually just read it in March, so I'm not going to say anything because I will be talking about it in my March wrap up at the end of the month. But yeah, so YA fantasy. Right, my next book I hauled is another adult romance, and that is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. This is my second book I read by them. I read in around the holidays. That kind of sounds silly, but this is about a couple. Well, not even, they're about to get married, and their like bride is really into bargains, and she gets her food like catered for free, and everyone gets food poisoning besides the bride's sister and the groom's brother. because they don't eat the food, and then they have to take the honeymoon so it doesn't go to waste, because again, they want it and it's like free, and they hate each other, so it's a hate to love romance. I'm not gonna say much about it because again, this is not a recap video, but I did read this in February, so you can check out if you want to know my opinions on it. All right, the next one I hauled is The One by John Mars. This is a thriller that takes place in a society where everyone can find their soulmate by your DNA. So the story follows 5 different people and their experiences with this program. Super intriguing. Even though it looks like a longer book, it's read really fast, and I honestly haven't met anyone that does not like this book. So if you're looking for a good fast thriller, I suggest this one. All right, and finally, the last book I hauled so far, from end of January to like almost mid-March. This book, I bought it offline because I currently am not going into stores because of COVID, and I was assuming that this was a regular sized book. I knew it wasn't going to be hard copy or a hardcover, but it came in this little small compact version of it. So it's Final Girls by Riley Sager. Not too happy because I have all hardcover copies of all the other books by him, and this one definitely does not fit in. So I haven't really decided if I'm going to keep this or if I'm just going to buy another one. But besides that, this is the last book of Riley Sager that I have not read yet. I've read his books and publication backwards. This is his first book. It was his debut novel, so I'm not really sure what to expect. It does have the lowest rating on Goodreads. I want to say it's like a 3.8 something, which is still not bad, especially for thrillers. I feel like a lot of times thrillers have lower ratings on Goodreads because they're so... people can really go either way if they like them or not. But I honestly know absolutely nothing about this, but I am excited. All of his other books have been 5 stars for me, and my goal was to read all of his books before his new publication this summer, so I definitely wanted to pick this up, but again, I was really disappointed when I got it in the mail. So this was a huge book haul. Let me know if you've read any books, what you think about them. What books have you recently hauled and are really excited to read, or maybe you've already read and you really enjoyed? Let me know down in the comments below. So if you want to take this journey with me, please press that subscribe button. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you never want to miss any of my content, make sure you press that bell for the get notifications. If you want to be my friend on any other social media platforms, all that information is down below. And yeah, stay kind, loves, and I'll see you next time. Bye.